Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 30NSG. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about why $100 video games could possibly be by the end of the decade. This article comes from Insider Gaming. $100 video games by the end of the decade might sound far-fetched to some, but with 2023 finally coming to a close, it shows the unprecedented unsustainability of the industry. From behind-the-scenes revelations from Insomniac Hack to over 10,000 people being laid off in the industry in 2023 alone, it's clear that the industry is at the crossroads. Unfortunately, I don't think it's heading in the favor of consumers either. In November of 2023, Take-Two boss Strauss Zelnick recently said that longer games should cost more. Oh, we read that article. He thinks that you should be paying by the minute, like they're hookers or like phone sex operators, and you're paying by the minute. Right? You like this thing? $1 a minute or $1 an hour. Zelnick comments that the first time censor figures had said games should cost more either. Just 2 months prior, in September of 2023, Capcom president, he also went on record stressing that the game prices are too low. Development costs are about 100 times higher than Famicom era. Now, although Zelnick missed out on the fact that the games have also evolved over the years and rammed the endless microtransactions, let's take a deep dive into why $100 video games might be coming sooner than you think. Yeah, I just love this, that they're like, oh, video games are supposed to be a lot more because just the time. And look, I've always said that video games, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, the best piece of entertainment you'll ever get, okay? Best piece of entertainment, right? I went to the movies to go see a movie this weekend, okay? Yesterday, and taking the kid and the wife, we spent $100 between the tickets and eating at the theater, okay, for an hour and 40-minute movie, okay. Meanwhile, take $100, throw it in towards one video game. I have like hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of entertainment, right, for the same price. So, still best price, dollar for dollar, right? Although it says development costs, it's possible, or probably one of the most obvious points of CEO would make when it comes to increasing game prices. But yes, development prices on the games have increased tenfold over the past couple of years. Now, I just want to say this. We didn't ask for photorealism graphics, right? We didn't ask for all these upgrades and other things. They did, right? They did this to take the bar. Instead of incrementally doing this every time, they decided to go from like here to like here, right? And then here as the industry changed. And you can't go back. It's hard to go back, right? Can you imagine a Spider-Man game coming after this Spider-Man game? Like down the road, some other person's making a Spider-Man game and it doesn't have the graphics like this, right? The standards have already been met, right? Your expectations of the standards have already been met. They're like, yeah, I'm not playing that Spider-Man game. It doesn't look as good as that one. It's going to happen, okay? So until recently, exact figures of how much AAA games cost and develop were predictions, but recent Insomniac Game Leak revealed just how much games cost. Marvel's Spider-Man cost $315 million to develop, while Marvel's Wolverine, which now is scheduled to release in 2026, will cost an estimated... Wait, 2026? I thought it was 2025. 2026 will cost an estimated $305 million. In comparison, one of the biggest games of all time, Grand Theft Auto 5, was released in 2013 with the approximate cost of $265 million to develop, okay? Including marketing costs, okay? Now, such high numbers are mainly attributed to development time, where development teams and a few hundred can no longer develop AAA games in a matter of a couple of years. 5 to 6 years are now as low end to norm, which some games take closer to a decade. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones, rest in peace, okay? So, AAA games are getting really expensive, okay? Again, they said 2013, $265 million with market for Grand Theft Auto 5. And that went on to make 180 million sales or copies sold, right? It's over the most successful piece of entertainment in history. And then you have Spider-Man 2, okay, at $315 million, and it might sell 10 million copies. Maybe for that total. The series has got like 33 before Spider-Man 2 came out, and now with it, it's like 43. So it's a long way off from 180 million copies sold, like Grand Theft Auto. But again, that's the outlier, okay? It says inflation. Next, let's take a good look at the topic of inflation. As consumers, we've seen prices increase drastically these past couple of years. Gone are the days of the 99p cheeseburger. 99, they must be, right? Must be a European company, right? Cheeseburger from McDonald's. Yeah, pounds. $3 Tesco meal. I live in a luxury, I know. But have video games kept up with the inflation? Now, the video games that were released on Atari 2600 in 1977 would set you back $39.99. But now, 46 years later, the game would also cost a staggering $202.62 according to the inflation calendar. Again, that's crazy, right? Bring back the story of Yara's Revenge. $75 back in the day, okay? $39 46 years ago is now $202. I can't imagine paying $202 for Yara's Revenge. I couldn't imagine spending $75, okay? Using the same inflation calculator and my computer skills from high school, the article says, let's take a look at how much games should cost if we follow inflation. Remember, in 2023, a current generation console games of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X/S cost $69.99. Now, in terms of PlayStation consoles, which saw the first console release of PlayStation 1, which games priced at $49.99, you can also see that over the years, games released on the platform have never matched inflation. If they did, now seeing games priced at $100 price point already. Now, using the price point of $49.99 for PlayStation 1 games in 1995, we can see how much it would also be by paying for each console generation. Okay, so right here, if it was $40 in 1995, the video game should cost $100 now. Okay, here's what I'll say. Go ahead. You know that gift, excuse me, you know that gift with from Dodgeball? It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for him. Let the video game industry charge $100 for the base game. We're not talking about pre-orders. We're not talking about special editions. We're not talking about gold or platinum or anything else. We're just talking about standard game, $100. Go ahead, raise the price. It's a bold move. Let's see how it works out for them. Okay. So PlayStation released in 1995, game price $49.99. Inflation price they don't put in here. PlayStation 2 released in 2000, game price $49.99. Inflation price $56.48. Difference of 12.98%. PlayStation 3 released in 2006. Game prices were $60. Inflation price $66.13, a 10.23%. PlayStation 4 released in 2013. $60. Inflation price $76.40 negative. No, I'm sorry. Is that negative? Yeah. No, not negative. $76.41. Difference of $27.37. Okay. PlayStation 5 released in 2020. Game price $69.99. Inflation's $84.99. Difference of $21.43. And game price in 2023 is $70. Inflation price in 2023 is $192, a 44% increase. In comparison, it would also calculate the same as Xbox games in the first release in 2021. I'm sorry, 2021. In 2001, an Xbox price of $50. There you go. 2001 was around $49, and now it would be, what is that, like 90? Is that 90? No, not even, like 80, 82. Okay. Xbox released in 2001. Game price $50. Xbox 360 released in 2005, $60. Inflation price $55.16, a minus 8.05%. That is a minus before that. Xbox One released in 2013, $60. $65.79 for inflation price, a 21.43% difference. Xbox Series XS released in 2020, $70 price tag, $73.10 for inflation, a 4.44%, and game price in 2023 $70, inflation price in 2023 $86.90, a 24.16%. Now, digital only next generation consoles, with the introduction of the new PlayStation 5 model, which seems to be a natural step in the direction of all digital game media, the question to ask is, what is the next generation of consoles in a digital-only game? We're still years before we get the concrete details of the next generation consoles, but unverified whispers have leaned towards the possibility of digital-only and next-generation systems. I mean, obviously, it's already happening. You can get a PlayStation digital. You can get an Xbox digital, right? This is what they want, because then you can't go to the third-party places. You can't go to GameStop. You can't go out to Target. You can't go to Walmart to buy your games. You have to buy them off their ecosystem of what the system is, right? And that's not just for that system. That keeps you locked in for your next purchase, because going forward, if they make a PlayStation 6 or an Xbox Series double SS, whatever the hell you want to call it, okay, they keep you in, because now it's FOMO. It's sunk cost fallacy you have inside the system. All your games and all your stuff and your services that you're paying for, if you're paying for PlayStation Plus or you're paying for Game Pass, all your games are in your Xbox or in the cloud. And as long as you keep paying that, that's where you keep them. But if you switch from PlayStation to now Xbox, you're not going to rebuy all your games again over on Xbox, are you? It's insane, right? So they have you by the cojones, okay? Because they keep you inside their ecosystem, okay? In direction of the industry is inevitable to go all that doesn't necessarily mean that the game prices could increase. The move away from physical media will present some challenges. If Sony decides to make their exclusive $100, it's also successful third-party games are likely to follow suit in price. Of course they are, okay? But it would also be very good if a lot of game companies go for the free-to-play model, or if they go for the microtransactions or the season pass, battle pass, and then they make deals with the streaming services like a Luna, like a Game Pass, like a PlayStation Plus, right? Because that's going to be the way it's going to go. Like, we look at it now, we don't see it. We don't see the forest through the trees because we're like, nah, it's never going to happen. It is going to happen. When we get there, you're going to look back on this day and go, I can't believe that was like just 5 years ago, okay? So microtransaction sustainability. Microtransactions have become more and more prevalent in games these past few years, with not only frequently increasing, but their prices too. Several days ago, Call of Duty Twitter account about the microtransactions in Call of Duty said that, has anyone else noticed that Activision seems to be slowing increasing the price bundles to see on how high they can go with Call of Duty? Shocker, okay? We started off at 1,800 Call of Duty points in the majority of the bundles, now 2,400 Call of Duty points, and now there's 2,800 Call of Duty point bundles in the shop, because the market allows it. It's going to keep going. If people, they don't need everyone to buy the 1,800, but if people are buying 1,800, Stealth, one of my mods, and one of the longtime viewers of our channel, he did this. I forget what game it was. Stealth, if you're here, I forget what game it was. It was a mobile game, and you did it live on stream. You bought a microtransaction. It was like a $2 microtransaction. I think it was Marvel's Revolution, if I'm not mistaken, right? He bought a microtransaction for like $2, okay? And as soon as he bought that $2 one, it gave him another offer, okay? And the minimum, it was that Disney game. Oh, it was the Disney game, Rose. That's correct. It wasn't the Marvel's Revolution. It was the Disney Mirrorverse. I think it was the Mirrorverse. As soon as he paid the $2 for that, it gave him that next tier. And the tier was minimum $5, and it went up to like $20. So then he bought the $5, and then it went up to a minimum of like $10. Then he bought that one, and then it went up to $25. Okay, instantaneously, it's like, well, let's see where we can put this, right? Because it was trying to figure out, okay, well, if he spent $2, let's see if he spends $5. He spent $5, let's see, he says $10. He spent $10, and he spent $20. And it starts to filter you through, okay? It's like one of those filtration systems. You take the coins, you throw them in, and then you shake the thing, and all the coins fall through to see how much, and it sorts it out. That's what that's doing. The algorithm is trying to figure out what to sort you in. What percentage are you going into, okay? That's what's happened. So that's a 56% increase in the price of microtransactions in Call of Duty over the few years. It's not entirely clear why the cost microtransactions increase exponentially, but it's likely the retaliation of rising development costs. One caveat to this, though, is consumers will eventually not just pay for microtransactions because it's steep prices. With worldwide recessions hitting almost every country, consumers would rather put food on the table rather than buy the next weed camo weapon bundle. I mean, this is another thing that's happening, right? So they just keep putting it out there and like, oh, well, the prices are raising. I don't know. Last time I checked, when you buy something or you're working on a project and you put a price out there, right? How much is this going to cost? I want you to build a car for me. Well, the car's going to cost, it's going to cost $25,000 for us to build your kit car. Okay, great. Here's the 25 grand up front and pay for it. How long is it going to take you? It's going to take us a year to build. Great. A year to build. Here's your 25 grand. In what way, shape, or form did they come back and go, well, we're putting the bolts on, and that's going to cost you an extra $25. And then we're using the screwdriver, and the screwdriver is going to cost you an extra $25. And then we have to hammer that thing in, and then it's going to cost you an extra $25. And you're like, hold up. Didn't you quote me that it was going to cost $25,000 to put this thing together? Isn't that including all your costs? So when they say that the raising prices of the development costs of the game is already put in to the budget ahead of time. Now, I do understand that there's live service games and free-to-play games that they didn't make any money, but there's still a budget that they made, and they made that money back. So what are they doing with that extra money? I know what Lorien Studios is doing with their money, right? They made a game, and they sold that game, and now they can make whatever game they want because this game is so successful with Baldur's Gate 3. But yet other companies are also very successful, but yet for some reason, the money just keeps slipping out of their hands, looking at you, Bungie, okay? So by the time the next generation rolls around in 2027, 2028, the past generation releases have shown us that they'll be likely to pay $80 for our games anyway. Almost every generation has seen a $10 increase in price of games, but it feels like the next time it could be a lot different. Now, in a recent Insomniac hack has also already shown that the publisher are already thinking about new ways to sell their game, with the likes of Marvel Spider-Man 3 being pitched to sold at 3 parts of $50 each. With the spiraling development cost, it also can see what some commercial flops close the studio. It's clear that the publishers will be exploring their boundaries of selling their games. One of these is unfortunately for us, and will be selling the games at a higher price. So it says in the article, what do you think? Do you think it could be seeing a $100 by the end of the decade? Let us know. I mean, technically we're already there, right? We're already there. We're seeing an increase of $100 because you've had it for years, right? Like there's free-to-play games that come out that charge you $40 because, right? There's $70 games charging you $100 because of 3 days early access, right? And it's all been there. So is this going to happen? Yes, it is going to happen, right? It's going to happen sooner rather than later. I don't even think it's going to be at the end of the decade. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later because budgets are going to increase. They're not going to get as many sales. So how to counter that, they're going to have to raise the prices. And less people are going to buy their games, but also afloat that. And if they can't do it, they're going to close shop on studios. Lots of more firings are going to happen because the game's going to come out. They're going to be working on it for 3 to 4 years, 5 to 6 years. They're not going to make the money they need to make. And then they're going to blame you. That's right. You and me and you and you, because you didn't spend the money on the video games. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Please make sure you share, like, and subscribe. If you like what we do here, check out some of these other videos that we have on our channel. Thanks for watching.